The woman from California is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ranking Member DeFazio, for the opportunity to rise in strong opposition to H.R. 1732, the Regulatory Integrity Protection Act, for several reasons. First, frankly speaking, I oppose the bill because it simply does not work. Just before the recess, the House passed the Energy and Water Appropriations, was pointed out by Mr. DeFazio, that included a rider, which I opposed, that would prohibit the Army Corps of Engineers from using any appropriated funds to develop or implement a change to the current rules that define the scope of the Clean Water Act protections. Yet, that is what the sponsors of H.R. 1732 say this bill is meant to do. The sponsors of this bill claim that it will not kill the ongoing rulemaking, but only tells the Corps and EPA to do the rulemaking over again. Yet, just 2 weeks ago, as pointed out, the House voted to prevent the agency from taking any action to change the current rules. So which is it? Does the majority want the agencies to do the rulemaking over, or does it want to kill any effort to change the current process that has been uniformly criticized by farmers, developers, and other industry and environmental organizations as unworkable, arbitrary, and costly? Secondly, I'm opposed to 1732 because it is yet another attempt to delay needed clarification to the scope of the Clean Water Act. Remember, the executive branch has been trying to clarify the scope of this Clean Water Act since January 2003. Now that's, 15 years ago, roughly. The Bush administration released their advance notice of proposed rulemaking for public comment. Since that time, there have been six attempts by the executive branch to release their interpretation of the waters of the United States. We've waited 12 years for clarity. For 12 long years, Mr. Chairman, our nation's streams and rivers have been vulnerable to pollution and degradation. For 12 years, our government has spent millions of dollars working on bringing clarity to the decisions made by the Supreme Court. Delaying this further would cost our American taxpayers, all of us, many more millions of dollars and a lot of wasted time. Intervening now and forcing the administration to start over again, particularly when we are on the cusp of clarity, is reckless. Pardon me. For example, stopping the administration's rulemaking to clarify the Clean Water Act could further impact the already dire circumstances Western states are facing with prolonged drought. 99.2% of my state in California drink water from public drinking water systems that rely on intermittent, ephemeral, and headwater streams. These streams are drying up in the West. And to add insult to injury, our actions today would force the administration to withdraw a rule that protects those streams that provide drinking water for 117 million Americans. Mr. Chairman, may I have additional time?
Give the gentlelady an additional minute.
The gentlelady is recognized for an additional minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. DeFazio. This legislation puts the legislative agenda of a well-heeled few ahead of the nation's, our taxpayer, their drinking water. It aims to protect the rights of speculators and developers over the need to conserve and reuse every precious drop of water that falls in our state. The bill potentially creates new opportunities for individuals to overturn decades of Western water law for their own personal benefit. Mr. Chairman, many of us have had many concerns with the proposed rule, the original one. But I appreciate that the administration has addressed those concerns and most of the concerns of the states and the stakeholders. The administration has pledged to work with stakeholders on implementation of the rule once it is final, which should happen in the next few months. So today, we will hear many platitudes that this bill is not about killing the rule, but about simply asking for public comment. Yet, such statements ignore the fact that the House just passed the rider, as was pointed out, Energy and Water Bill, to block the bill from taking effect and blocking any change to the existing rulemaking or guidance. So, Mr. Chairman, today's rhetoric is simply about an attempt to gather more public comment and simply just words. Please, I ask my colleagues to, and I urge them to vote against this H. 1732.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. That we recognize the gentleman from Pennsylvania.